Hello everyone, and welcome to my new video on stock market, where I'm going to discuss about Mahindra and Mahindra stock. So title here, if you see, is quite interesting. Why Mahindra and Mahindra, so short form is M&M, is going to give multi-bagger returns again, right? So this last word again, right? You will be saying why again? Because it has given huge returns from last many years, but in the last 2 years, the stock price of Mahindra and Mahindra has crashed. So I will give you the reasons why it has crashed and why it can again give multi-bagger returns. So I will discuss about both. And watch out till the end of this video because okay, let's proceed. Okay, I will mention that in here. So before I proceed, some points here. So watch till the end to know my view, like what is my view, whether I'm invested in this stock or not. Also, do not forget to subscribe to my channel because making these contents takes a lot of effort from my side. So just encourage me by just subscribing to my channel. Also, I cannot give you short-term targets. What will the stock price of Mahindra 1 month, 2 month, 3 month? But I can tell you that through my whatever view I give, I can tell you that in the long term, 5 years, 10 years, this stock can give you very good returns. I also try to gain knowledge on finance. What I will suggest you is do read books. I have read a lot of books on finance, and if you need any suggestion, do ask me. I will tell you about some books. Also, I will try to review quarterly results for Mahindra and Mahindra whenever it comes, so that you know how you understand right what is changing in the company. And also, I will also not tell okay when to buy. I mean, today you should buy today, tomorrow, 1 month, 1 year. So for that, what you can do is I normally follow the SIP approach for this and for investment. So I will suggest you to watch my video when to buy a stock. I have mentioned, so I will paste the link of that in the description. Do watch that video to understand when to buy a stock. Let's now focus on Mahindra and Mahindra M&M. Like for the first thing I always do in like my video is that I talk about the how the stock, sorry, how the company actually makes profit. This is very important. If you are doing investment for long term, do understand how the company makes profit and in which segments the company operates. What is the market share of company in those segments? Understand this point. This is very helpful. And do a fundamental analysis of the company before taking a decision on where to buy or not. So of course, Mahindra and Mahindra, if you see, it manufactures passenger cars. It's like it contributes around 32% of the revenue for Mahindra. Through tractors, they get around 29% of their revenue. And through manufacturing of commercial vehicles, they get around 27% of their revenue. So these are the major segments of revenue for Mahindra and Mahindra. So these are some of the famous cars that Mahindra sells. So they have XUV, Xylo, Scorpio, Bolero. You would have heard of these car brands, right? You would have seen these cars running on your road. And also they are also into commercial vehicles. So they are into heavy commercial vehicles, intermediate commercial vehicles, light commercial vehicles, bus, right? You would have seen these mostly of, I mean, these vehicles, commercial vehicles of Mahindra near, I mean, on your road, you would have seen if you are driving on the road, you would have seen these vehicles for sure. Let's understand the market share here. So there are a lot of numbers here, but I will just focus on the market share here. So if you see the passenger vehicles, so this is the cars market share. So they are mostly into SUV. So if you see the SUV market share, utility vehicles market share, it's close to 25% in 19. And total cars, so in the total cars, passengers vehicles, that is cars market share, it's around 7.5%. So here Maruti Suzuki dominates with 50% market share. Next you have Hyundai with 20% market share, and the rest 30% is divided between Tata, Mahindra, and many other companies. Now even many Chinese companies are also entering these markets. In the tractors, if you see, this is for the tractors. This is for the tractors, I think. And in tractors, if you see, just wait, their market share is close to 40% in tractors. So they have like dominant, and they have the highest market share in tractors in India, right? So they are 40% market share is huge, right? Mahindra is known for making tractors. And the last one is commercial vehicles. If you see, in this they have around 25% market share. So if you go by market share, they are very good in commercial vehicles, like 25%, and also in tractors, close to 40%. Of course, in cars, they do not have a dominant market share, but some of the brands like Scorpio and Bolero, you can see that frequently on the roads. They are utility vehicles, and in utility vehicles, they have good market share, 25%. And most of their sales actually comes from villages, right? So if the villages, agriculture, everything does well, Mahindra and Mahindra stocks would also do good. Let's talk about value creation, like how much value it has created. So if you see, if you have invested in 1994, then you would have earned around 191x returns, right? That's quite great, right? So if you have invested 1 rupees in 1994, your return today, I mean total net worth today will be 191 rupees, right? That's 191x bagger, right? So Peter Lynch used to call this multi-bagger stocks, and he will call this stock 191x bagger stock. Similarly, if you're investing in 2004, still it's a 38x bagger stock, right? Very good return it has given, right? And its CAGR is not mentioned here, but that I think that's close to around 13-14%. Right? You can even calculate that from here. I mean, but yeah, it's close to 13-14%. I think that's quite good. I mean, CAGR return. I mean, you're seeing over 25 years, right? So it's quite good CAGR. And also, do not think that Mahindra and Mahindra only builds cars and tractors and everything. They have a lot of group companies, right? And they have good stake in this. So they have like Tech Mahindra, Mahindra and Mahindra Financial Service, Mahindra Logistics, Mahindra Lifespace Developers, many others. So total market cap of all these companies is close to 2.1 trillion. So this is the data from 2019. Maybe it will be less today because of COVID crash, but yeah. Okay, this I have compiled from my own knowledge. Like I got this from annual reports. So Mahindra and Mahindra has close to 200 subsidiaries, right? And they have good stake in, let's say, Mahindra Holidays and Resorts. If you see, they have 67% stake. Mahindra and Mahindra Financial Service, 51% stake. Mahindra Lifespace Developers, 51% stake. So Mahindra and Mahindra is a diversified company. They have a lot of group companies actually, where they have good stake in those companies. Mahindra Logistics Company, 58% stake. This one is Sasan Yong Motors. So this is a South Korean company, and this has been in news lately. And I will discuss about this company actually after some time, details. There are many other companies also, like they are into defense system, they are into aerospace, like they are a very diversified company. Tech Mahindra is a very big company in IT sector. They have 26% stake in that. And they also have a stake in emerging markets like automobile markets like Meru Cabs. They have 55% stake. In Zoomcar, they have invested 2,700 crores. And also in Reva Electric Car, they have a controlling stake. Right? So this company actually has a lot of innovation, and also they do innovation also, and they try to also like buy stakes in other good companies, which they think can do good in future. And also these are all the listed companies. They have also good investment in unlisted companies, and that investment is worth close to 15,000 crores. So I just did a valuation of like how much Mahindra and Mahindra and valuation like right, from these subsidiaries companies. So from Tech Mahindra, they have 26% stake, and the market cap of Tech Mahindra is 70,000 crores. So Mahindra and Mahindra, their valuation, like their stake is close to 18,500 crores in this. So similarly, I've calculated for others also, in which they have dominant stake, and this total value was close to 40,000 crores, right? And their market cap is 60,000 crores, right? So 40,000 is, 40,000 crores stake they have in listed companies. In unlisted, so this basically means they have investment worth 40,000 crores in listed companies and 15,000 crores in unlisted companies. So total worth from this, listed and unlisted companies itself is 55,000 crores. And Mahindra, market valuation, so market cap is just 60,000 crores today. So you can understand how cheap this company is at current price. Okay, let's move back to again to about Mahindra and Mahindra. So they are a diversified company in the terms that they are all over the globe. So actually 49% of their revenue comes from outside India. That's quite interesting, right? 49% from outside India. So they have plants in like manufacturing plants in Africa, Australia, Brazil, China, France, Finland, Italy. India, of course, 22 plants, Japan, Mexico, South Korea, USA, right? So they are all over the globe. Okay, so this was all about Mahindra and Mahindra. Now you understand what Mahindra and Mahindra is, right? Like they are a diversified company, of course. They are all over the world. Plus, their main business is, of course, into tractors, cars, and commercial vehicles. But they do have very good stake in other Mahindra group companies. So they are a diversified company. So this is the interesting thing I want to talk in this video. Like what happened after 2018? The stock was doing great till 2018. You see here, it was doing great, right? This is of course the fall after 2008 crash, but after that it was doing great. And what happened at the stock price of 950, around 950? It crashed to during the COVID to 200, right? 200 something. It again rose, I mean, to 500. So what happened during this time? Let's focus on this. Why after 2018 investors started selling this stock? Why it happened? So there is always a reason, right? There is some reasons. So if for 2 years the company stock price is falling, there must be some reason, right? Okay, for 2 3 days it's falling, it's okay. Or for 1 month it's falling, it's okay. But if it's falling for 2 years, there must be some reasons. Let's focus on those. Okay, so Anand Mahindra, he is the chairman of Mahindra and Mahindra Group. And I like the promoters of this company. They are very professional. Of course, Anand Mahindra, you would have heard of him. I mean, he is very active on Twitter also. So in 2002, he made a tweet. No, sorry, this tweet was made on August 21. I think this was in 19. He made this tweet. So he told that in 2002, we begin our annual group conference labeled Blue Chip because we would lift our performance and make the stock price reflect our genuine potential. So forgive us for being emotional today. The Nifty hit a high and our stock proved to be the best performer since 2002. So I think this tweet was made probably in 2018 when the Nifty hit all-time high. And they have actually made a plan to uh, provide great returns to the shareholders. In 2002, their management has taken this decision and they have worked on it. The results you can see here, right? From 2002 to 18, the stock gave 31% CAGR, right? And it was the highest performer in Nifty, right? So that's quite huge returns, right? 31% in 2018. Now let's focus on what happened after 2018 that made the shareholders' returns very bad. See this. Okay, you can see here, right? From this graph also, from 2002 to 2018, great, up 31% CAGR returns. From 18 to till now, till 20, negative 54% CAGR returns. Right? A wealth destroyer, I mean, during this time from 18 to 20. So what actually happened is, see this. So their operating cash flow, right? So this is, I mean, standalone operating cash flow from Indian business like tractors, cars, and commercial vehicles. So from 2002 to 2018, the average operating cash flow was close to 2,400 crores, right? And this is operating cash flow before capex. Before they, I mean, capex means basically building capacity, right? So building factories and other things. So this is close to 2,500 crores, right? Now you see in 18 to 20, this has doubled 5,000 crores, right? So they have doubled the operating cash flow. But why then the stock crashed after even doubling the operating cash flow? So the reason is that the earning per share, so basically the profits decreased a lot. So what actually happened? It was EPS CAGR was 34% from this period 2 to 18. And that's why 31% CAGR in stock price. But after 18 to 20, if you see the EPS CAGR or EPS returns are minus 87%, right? That's crashed right there. Basically, profits have crashed. And average return on equity also, if you see from 2002 to 18, it was close to 22% on average. That's quite great. And it's now half, right? At 12%, right? So you see, right, something bad has happened during these 2 years. So what actually bad has happened? Let's understand that. So this is important. Losses from international subsidiaries. As I told you, Mahindra and Mahindra's 49% revenue comes from outside India. They have a lot of international subsidiaries. The issue with the subsidiaries are that they are loss-making subsidiaries. Okay, they give Mahindra 50,000 crores of, sorry, 50% of their revenues. So that's close to, I think, 50,000 crores actually, that revenue. Now, but this revenue are not making any profit. That's the issue. The Indian unit, the Indian business is making a lot of profits, but not the outside India business. See the loss. In 17 it was negative 53, right? In 18 it went to like 1000 crores. In 19 2000, in 25,000 crores loss, right? That's huge, right? In 25,000 crores, right? That's huge. I mean, that's why you see the stock has crashed, I mean, right? And if you see as the percentage of profit after tax, initially it was 1%, then 12%, 25, at last 107%, right? I mean, that's huge, right? This loss, right? So they are able to make good profits on Indian business, but they're again making loss on their international business. So overall, profits are decreasing, right? So that's why their stock took a hit. But now it's going to change. So let's understand how. Okay, so so if you have watched the latest, I mean the management commentary, if you have watched that, so they have told that now they will do tighter capital allocation. So they are investing a lot of capital in the international business, and that way those business were not making profits. So that's why they are changing the, I will say, the capital allocation now. So they have divided into three categories, A, B, and C. Now in A, the logic is that, so basically there are three types of companies, A companies, B companies, C companies. So basically they have a lot of subsidiaries and company. They will divide them into these categories. Either they will fall into A, either into B, either into C. Now which will fall into A? So those companies which have clear path to 18% return on equity, if that company or if that subsidiary can give 18% return on equity, that will fall into A. In B, the companies will be like delayed or unclear path to profitability. So, okay, it is not going to become profitable in near future, but it can have a very good strategic impact on the company. So that will fall into B. And C is, of course, you do not have, I mean, any path to profitability, and also it does not has it has these companies, C companies, they do not have also like good impact on and good strategic impact on Mahindra and Mahindra. These are in C. So now what is the action plan for them? Of course, the companies which have clear indication of giving ROE of 18% continue with these companies. Also with the B type of companies, like which have like good impact on the overall business, continue with this. But the C, that is unclear path to profitability, try to exit this business, like, or try to explore partnership or shut down this business. So this C part actually, I think, is going to re-trigger this stock again, because they have actually taken one action. I will provide that, what action they have taken recently. So of course, path forward is tighten capital allocation norms that they will follow. Act on all loss-making subsidiaries. So if a subsidiary is loss-making, either shut it down or try to make it profitable in the long term. Define clear narrative for the auto segment. And also last one is important, harness value from unlisted gems. I told you they have investment of close to 15,000 crores worth of investment in unlisted gems. Try to make returns for the shareholders through that unlisted companies, right? So that's their path forward. They have discussed this just some days before. Okay, this is important. So they have also, so that was the action plan, but they have also taken an action recently in this quarter. What they did is, uh, so they try to not infuse any fresh capital into SsangYong company. So they were actually investing a lot in this company, and they also did a write-off for this. So the write-off was close to 3,000 crores, I think. So write-off is basically something like, you thought that okay, this company will be valued at X, right? But it's not valued at that. It is valued at very less than that X value. So that then the company has to do a write-off. That's what they did in this quarter, and there was a huge loss for Mahindra and Mahindra in this quarter. So of course, and also is re-examining. So of course, they will not infuse any fresh capital in this loss-making company, and they were investing a lot before. And also they are re-examining the business outlook of other international subsidiaries and in terms of capital allocation. And this company, SsangYong, I don't know whether I'm pronouncing it right. So the company they acquired in 2011, and they have 70% stake. So it was loss-making company in 2011. It's a South Korean company. It's still a loss-making company, but they have invested $110 million into it. Right? So 110 millions didn't provide them any profit. Now, if they stop doing this, so I think this loss you see here, right? That 5,000 loss. So out of this, I think 80% or 70% loss was because of this company, Sasang. Now they will not invest any money in this and will try to exit or form partnership. So I think in coming years, you should again see Mahindra going back to their normal profit that was before. Okay, let's look at standalone numbers. So their standalone business is, of course, the Indian business where they sell tractors, cars, and commercial vehicles. So from automotive segments, that is commercial vehicles and cars, the margin is 7%. From tractors, like farm segment, the margin is 20%. Quite good. So actually, this tractors is a huge cash generator for them. Automotive ROC, return on capital employed, is close to 30%. And so this is standalone numbers, now not the numbers of their international operations. Those numbers are very bad. So automotive ROC is 30%, quite great. From the tractors, their return on capital employed is 70%, right? They generate a lot of money from this tractors. Overall standalone operating margin is 13%, and overall standalone ROC is 18%. So standalone numbers are quite great. They are very great. So this is their financial highlights from 2019. Like these are standalone numbers, and they have done like 52,000 crores of revenue in this 2019, and their profit after tax is 5,400 crores. Right. So remember these numbers. I will show you the international numbers, and you will see how bad their international numbers are. I mean, so this is the numbers from India side. Okay, this is the consolidated numbers, like overall, I mean, Indian business plus outside business. You see this from, I told you, they earn 49% revenue from outside India. That's why you see total revenue is 1,500 crores, basically double from here, 52,000 crores. That's quite great, right? Very good revenue. But see this profits they are making is just 5,000 crores overall profits. I mean, their standalone profit itself was 5,400 crores. And from if you combine both business, the profits of both India and outside, still the profit is 5,000 crores. That means there is zero profit from outside India. That means, right? Or there is loss from outside India, right? So they are making no profits from the international business, right? So that is the point. They need to improve on this, and I think management has taken this decision, and they will improve on this. And also, if you see the ROC for combined business, it's 13%. I mean, overall, if you see, it's 18%. But here, return on capital employed decreases because we are not making any profits outside Indian business, and that's very bad. That's a bad point about this stock. And hope whatever the management decision they have taken, hope they follow that, then these stocks will do very good. Okay, of course, this is my view. Tight capital allocation can re-trigger the stock. So if they try to exit this loss-making business like they have internationally, then I think this would be very good for Mahindra & Mahindra in the long term. And of course, this is a long-term investment company. This is a part of Nifty 50 company. This is a very large company, not a very small company. I normally invest like this type of companies for long term. Anand Mahindra is the chairman, and he's a very good promoter of this company. And one good point I want to mention here is that India has 6 lakh villages, right? And total, the sales of tractors in India is close to just 6 lakhs. So 6 lakh villages, total tractor sales is just 6 lakhs, right? That means the penetration level is just 1 tractor per village, right? That's very low. And for one village, there is only 1 tractor at average. That's very bad. And I think this number is going to improve a lot because government is also focusing on to villages and agriculture. And I think these numbers will improve a lot in the future. So this stock is, I will hold this for very long term, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. Because India is still a lot dependent on agriculture. And I think government will focus on that in the future also. Of course, tractor segment is a cash generator for them. They earn a lot of cash from this. And also, it's a very innovative company. If it sees that some innovative products are coming into market, it enters that product segment. Like they're entering into electric vehicle segment. They are entering into this. Some of their cars are already out of electric vehicles, and they are very active in this. So I am invested in this company, and I am going to buy a lot more. Now, when I will buy, I normally follow SIP approach. Whenever I have some money, I will buy this. So now the stock price is 500. For me, it's a good level to again enter. I mean, it's not a bad level for me to enter. And you will think that, okay, it crashed to 250. It has doubled from there. It will again crash. But nobody knows this, right? It will again crash or not. We follow SIP, right? Every month you can invest some money in this. 5,000, I think it is a good level to enter now. And so that's my view on this stock. Do not forget to subscribe to my channel. And if you want to like maybe have videos on some other stocks also, do mention the stock in the comment section. Thank you.